Welcome to Wolf Family Therapy. The doctors today are Jamie and Tyler, and the appointment will start briefly. Thank you for patiently waiting. The brothers will see you now.
So you got kicked out of 3 schools. How old are you?
2 of them were preschools. One of them was kindergarten.
And you think it was racism? No. So what you're claiming...
You think it was this racism those libs talk about?
So kids were being racist and you beat them up.
Yeah.
And then the school is like, come on.
They're like,
Randall.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did they talk to the kids who were being racist?
Pre-K, you said, was the youngest?
Pre-K was the youngest, yeah.
I know
that
that
2 preschools.
Because I know now Florida school policies, you have to be racist. But back then, was it similar?
Yeah, because honestly,
It wasn't a policy, it was like an unspoken rule.
Yeah.
Or spoken, it just wasn't in writing.
yeah, there's like a wink. Every single morning, I'm like, everyone's winking at me.
And then calling me the N-word.
No, it was so because the states, but I know like the school, one of the schools I went to, and that my brother and my sister went to, like it was started because it was a private school. It was started when desegregation happened to have the white kids like go to school for the black kids.
School.
Right.
And so then we go there, and they're like, "We're still racist."
Yeah,
You
that's the tradition.
Happened to get money somehow, which was not supposed to happen. But don't worry, we'll fix this. Yeah.
So how did you, were there other black kids at the school?
There's like 5, including my brother and my sister. There's not
5 total.
Yeah, well, in our in my middle school, I remember I think there was 3 black kids in my grade out of like
Man.
200. Yeah,
That's rough.
It was wild. There was one Indian kid I remember. I'm like, damn, you're the only one, man. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it's wild. I mean, he's a Muslim. He's the only Muslim kid. And this was back,
Oh, no.
Yeah, this was when it was really not good to be Muslim.
Yeah, the worst time period for Muslims in America.
The reason I remembered him as Indian, he was like, I just tell people I'm Indian.
Really? Oh, my God. And they don't know the difference.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, this is like, they're like, okay, that's, you guys are fine, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's fucking brutal.
They're still racist, just not as racist.
Yeah, and back then you didn't know that Indians could be, and a lot of them are Muslim, but it's just like, yeah, they're just, just saying, these people are fucking stupid.
They legitimately think it's a religion.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, you follow Indy, the god Indy.
I can't fucking imagine that. We grew up white. Well, we grew up Jewish, and honestly, it was never a big deal because most of the schools we went to was mainly Jews.
Yeah, our middle school was probably 30% Jewish based on the amount of bar and bat mitzvahs we went to.
This is in Philly?
30, yeah, 30%.
And there was 90 kids, so 30 kids were Jewish.
Yeah.
Did it? Was it just like, oh, this is the best school in the area, or your parents like were sending them to like Jewish school?
Well, it was where our mom taught.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we went to the schools. Yeah, both the schools she taught at.
Yeah, the high school we went to.
She didn't have to pay tuition for I think 2 of her kids when we were there.
As like in like elementary. Oh, elementary school.
Don't you guys? Isn't there one more of you?
2 more.
2 more. I have a twin sister, who's 32 now.
So you cost money, because you got 2 free kids, right?
I think the free ones were the oldest ones because they were enrolled first.
And also, no one really
I
cost money because our mom didn't really have much, but our grandparents did. So they were covering it.
The grandparents paid for the other tuition. It was kind of unnecessary.
Was this OG mom or was this stepmom?
This is OG mom. Yeah, this is OG mom. She didn't have money, but her parents were paying for all of their grandchildren's tuitions for school.
It's funny. My grandparents on my mom's side wanted to do that for my aunts and my mom. And my grandpa, he like 3 jobs, just never got any sleep. And then both my mom and my aunt got free rides. And he's like, well, shit.
Why they got like scholarships because they were smart enough to just...
Yeah. He was like, oh, I mean, it's nice now that I have this money, but... Really wish I could have experienced life for the past 18 years.
2 of these jobs.
God damn.
That is a funny reaction to have of just like, it's free ride's great, but also why did I spend all that time?
Wait, so what did
working
they
for you?
do then? Did he give them the money or
No.
He
was like,
he
no.
was like, fuck it, I'm spending it on me.
Yeah, it's like I lived through Jim Crow and war. I'm buying a jacuzzi.
Just showing up to their colleges in a mink coat.
Yeah. How you kids doing? My mom's like scrounging for food at the dining hall. It's like, oh, it's kind of hard. It's like, oh man, sounds rough. Maybe you should get a couple jobs.
Do you know what his 3 jobs were?
He was a school principal. He was some type. I think it was a mailman, and I forget what the third job was. Yeah.
So these are 3 full-time
They're like
jobs.
real. Yeah, I don't know how he did it.
He was the night mailman.
Where was he doing this?
In Ohio.
Okay.
Like a little bit outside Cleveland. Yeah.
Okay. Kind of Cleveland area. He's a mailman, a principal of a public school?
Yeah. And then my grandma was a teacher, but she only had one job. So I'm like, I'd be a little pissed off. She was probably taking care of my mom and my aunt. But if I had 3 jobs, I'd be like, maybe you should get 2.
Maybe let's distribute a little bit here.
He's like, no.
That's crazy though, because that's like 2 like unionized jobs too.
Oh,
it's
dude.
not just like the gig economy that we think of now.
Yeah, true.
He's running a school and then
That's
also a U.S. Postal Service.
Fully a
That's the
mailman.
weird part is like, you always think of the past as being worse in every single way, but just pensions, man, my grandma is riding high on pension money right now.
That's so
Pensions
true.
are so
Yeah.
goddamn good. And I'm like, no one I know has a pension. I don't think those exist.
Yeah, I don't know
I think
how you get a
they've
pension these
gotten rid
days.
of, unless you were like grandfathered in because you're still working, but you're like
Because just like a 401k
50.
now, right?
Yeah, which
Which I don't even know exactly how it works. I should probably figure. I think I might have a pension. I don't know shit about money.
Why is it called 401k? When I was a kid, I thought it was like you needed $401,000.
I thought the same thing.
to
I thought
do
everyone
that.
is like, when you retire, you get a $401,000.
That's what I thought.
I
That's
was like,
exactly what I
"Man,
thought.
That's pretty nice.
instead it's like no, you have to put money in from every single paycheck, and it will probably not equal that at the end.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
won't even be
Yeah.
401k.
Don't worry, because we're having multiple recessions.
It'll be worth less than the money you put in at the beginning.
But don't worry, your company matches up to 1%.
Good luck, buddy.
What was okay? So he's a mailman and a principal. That kind of sucks as a combination. Like maybe delivering mail to the kids who you're a principal for.
Well, what are they going to do? Talk shit to you?
Principal
this
Otis.
This is back in the 60s, man. This is when teachers could hit you. You know
Really?
what I mean? I don't think he did, but I think you could.
Yeah.
So
Definitely
he's
could.
like,
Our dad
I
has
dare
talked
you to
about
talk
that.
shit.
He went to like Catholic school, and he talks about like the nuns would just
With
take
the
rulers
rulers.
and just like smack you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They-
Little,
yeah.
You thought the nuns would be the worst, and priests were like, "Don't worry, we'll
Rolling up their sleeves. Okay, that was pretty good.
we'll make everyone forget that you even did
Take his
this."
pants.
Oh
Oh my god, is he gonna use the belt? It's worse.
he's gonna hit you with his.
Oh no! Don't worry, the belt has nothing to do with the tragedy that is about to occur.
Oh my god.
He gives you the belt to hit him with.
Tell me I'm a bad boy. I remember I was always jealous of Catholics because I thought confession was cool.
Isn't it kind of cool?
Fuck it this week. Just like bragging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got pussy again. Sorry.
Whoops. What do I need to do
Humble
about it?
brag.
Oh
Bragging
no,
with
father. Yeah. Just like, son, I don't think it's cool. She's like, yeah, but you kind of do. Apparently priests are allowed to get married and have sex again.
What?
What?
Yeah, the
Since
Pope.
when?
Every priest?
Like this year, the Pope was like, actually, this rule's not technically in the Bible, and
And also,
it wasn't technically in the Bible.
no,
Why?
it's just like a cultural thing. I think it was because
That's
I may be
unbelievable.
wrong, but I think it was because like priests had so much power in the past, and they would fuck a lot of women, and I think kings got mad at that, and they're like, "You're not allowed to fuck."
Oh. Okay, that makes
And so the
total
Pope's
sense.
like,
and then
well,
they're
I-
like, we'll find a way around it. And he was like, you know what? Just get married again. Just get married again.
Yeah, I think the Pope was actually like, I think
just
if
get
we-
married again.
I think if we let him get married, we'll get less weird freaks maybe in here.
Isn't that crazy to say? Because you want to say being a pedophile is totally unrelated to getting laid. But I think that just the data points to you do have to kind of fuck to not be a pedophile. The data points to there are some people that if they're horny enough will just go to a boy, like a 10-year-old boy. That's what the data points towards.
the data that you just hypothesized in your head right now.
Priests.
Priest. Oh, as
They
the
can't
data is
fuck
priest.
adult women.
That is. I think it's more just like
I don't think
weird freaks are like attracted
They
to.
can't
I
fuck
don't
anything.
think-
They're
Yeah.
they're just supposed to be.
No,
100%
that's my
celibate.
point. That's what I want to believe. I want to go, no, they're all weird freaks.
Oh,
But I don't know. Every priest is also a weird freak. I really feel like part of it is it's
I feel
just
like there
you
was
haven't
like-
fucked for 30 years and then there's a thing you can fuck.
I feel like it's
Not
like,
that I would do that. I'm just saying there does seem to be a little element of
Yeah, I
that.
was about to say I didn't fuck for a while, but I never was like,
What about
yeah. I've had some dry spells.
yeah,
that never came
what's up with that ball pit? You know,
I
never-
know. That's what we want to say. No, but I feel here's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is I feel like this will maybe it's marginal, but it will decrease the number of pedophilic incidents from priests if
I
they get
agree.
married and have sex, which is not you want that not to be true.
I agree. I think for different reasons, but I agree.
Okay, why?
Because I
they'll
think it's
have
just like a
wives.
self-selection bias. You know, like if you can't get married, being a priest already, being a priest now, knowing like the reputation,
You're a pedophile.
It's
yeah.
like it's an interesting thing to
Yeah.
want
Right.
to do.
Yeah.
Right. You're not
Yeah.
going to want to marry someone that's been a priest like more than 5 years, more than since they made that rule.
I am.
Yeah, more than
It's interesting though. I feel because like I grew up Protestant, and they have so much game with adult women. You know, because especially with Black
Protestant
church,
what?
you're the most
Priests?
pastors.
Pastors.
Yeah, because you're the most just charismatic dude in town.
Yeah.
And you just get up there. You have a little show every week.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, being a pastor is like theater kids for God. Like it rocks. God, Jesus. I love the way that dude
Would you
talks.
go to like church every single week?
Every single week. The thing is, we would show up halfway through church
Oh, that's really nice.
because my dad hated like the
I thought Jamie was going to
songs.
say that's really black. No.
Well, the black part is we showed up halfway through and it was still an hour and a half. Like the whole
Where?
Yeah,
from
Black
when you
church
showed
is
up?
much
yeah,
longer.
it was like
yeah.
3 hours in total.
Yeah, yeah.
And my dad was like, I can't. Really? He was like, we don't need to be there for like the songs and shit.
Oh, it
Let's
wasn't like
so
we have
funny.
something else scheduled. It was like let's just wait until they've gotten past.
Yeah,
the
he's like, I don't
intro.
want to wake up that early and I'm missing the songs, which is my least favorite part.
Oh, that's actually awesome.
He's like, I'm just here for the sermon and that's it.
That's smart as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they care about that at all?
No, they would always just be like, oh no, and do the little shuffle to your seat. And everyone's
Sorry,
like,
we're late for the 100th time in a row.
We've been here for 7 years, but yeah, I just can never figure out
Wait,
the damn time.
it's 9 a.m. start. I'm so sorry. We always with the clocks and yeah.
You know, a really fun thing. You might not do this because were you guys practicing Jews? Would you go to temple?
I went on the high holidays like 3 years in a row, and then our mom gave up.
What are the high holidays? Passover and
Yom Kippur is actually the big one.
And
Is that-
We
Rosh
we
Hashanah.
celebrated
New Year?
Passover every Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah.
Yom Kippur is New Year, right?
Yom Kippur is New
What's
Year.
Rosh Hashanah?
That's like atoning before
Yes.
the New Year.
Yeah.
Ah, so you
You're
do get a
atoning
little
for the sins
confession.
of your last year. Yeah, you actually.
I don't
remember
think you say it. You just kind of think it.
No,
Oh, you do.
We wrote a note. You write a note, and then you put it in like an urn, and it's burned. You burn basically you are atoning
you
for
get-
your
you-
sins.
yeah, get rid
that's
of
what
it.
we did at least. I don't
Cleanse.
know if that's everywhere because our temple was super like.
What do you mean I don't even know where this
Very
was.
reform. Mishkan Shalom. It was so reform. It's like the most reform.
See, I'm glad there's a like a ritual because the way you put it, I just imagined a bunch of Jews in a circle being like, to themselves like, yeesh, that was yeah, that was bad too. Oh boy. Anyway, you guys done? I guess you missed that because the thing I remember when we first I was born in New York and we moved to Florida.
Like immediately or
Yeah, I was like 3.
yeah.
But we went. You go church shopping sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember very few things. I remember one of them had stained glass, and I'm like, that's weird because this is like a Catholic thing. I don't know why there's stained glass. And then another one I remember, it was like semi-normal, but I think it was a Pentecostal church, but it was like a real Southern style one, and they brought out snakes. And
way.
And my mom just goes, "We're leaving."
You just stood up in the middle.
Yeah, we're just like, we're leaving.
Shit, that's wild.
Yeah, so I remember, we went to like a few before we got to the one we finally went to.
Wow.
And it sounds like you kind of hit the jackpot.
It was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Although it was funny, we had our main pastor. He was like really smart guy. Went to like Yale Divinity School. Like truly like knew his shit, and was like pretty progressive. He's like, yeah, gay people are cool and all this stuff. And I was like, which is rare. But then I remember we had like. Because our pastor was like kind of oldish when we got there, and so as time went on, he would be like do some sermons and some he would be off, and then he had like his understudy,
A sub.
yeah, he was just dog shit. He was that type who's like, come down to the front and let me put my hands on you,
Really?
like the healing power of Jesus. Yeah, it was just, and my dad hated that like mystical shit. So whenever we would drive by, if he saw the JV pastor,
No way. He would
literally just keep driving and go and get Jamaican beef patties.
Actually?
Yeah.
Wow.
So me and my brother and sister would be like, please, please, please let the shitty pastor be here. So we could just
So
see
you could just eat and then, yeah.
Yeah, we're like, oh yeah.
Wow, your dad sounds like the man.
Yeah, he's really he's really just
Awesome.
straightforward about his business. He's like, I like this, I don't like this, and yep.
Where's he from?
Born in Mississippi, grew up in South Central.
Born in Mississippi. Where in Mississippi?
Vicksburg, Mississippi.
How old?
How old is he?
I mean, when was he born, rather? How old was he when he was born?
Well, he's like
Oh, he was 0.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
He was one of those 0-year-olds.
fascinating. Well, he's like 67, 68 right now.
Okay.
So
So like 54,
So
like
50s.
our mom's age.
yeah.
And when did he move to South Central?
I think he was like 6, 7, like pretty young.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's how crazy like bad Vicksburg was, at least back then. At least for black people, it was like he moved to Watts and Compton, and it's like this is an upgrade.
Well, I'm pretty sure when you said Vicksburg, I'm pretty sure I've heard of that, and the only context I would have been in textbooks.
Yeah.
So-
It was definitely a location in the
Yeah.
Civil War.
Yeah, and my grandpa on my dad's side like only got up to like 8th grade in education. Then he fought in Korea. Then he came back. Then he got fucked on the GI Bill or some bill where he was supposed to get money, but they just didn't give it to black people. And
GI,
then-
that was, yeah. It was
yeah, I think
definitely
it might have been GI Bill. And then, so he's like, fuck this. I know a dude from the Army who's got a job for me out in Cali. And
And he took his whole family?
Yeah, he's like, why the fuck am I going to stay here? And he's
Hell
like,
yeah.
let's
Wow.
move.
Yeah.
And then they just lived in South Central until
Until my dad went to college. And they kept living there for a while. And then they eventually moved.
where do they live now?
Dead.
Okay.
But
The ground, Jamie. Thanks
Yeah.
for bringing it up.
Sorry about that.
you knew he was dead. No, but now my dad had a very interesting childhood compared to mine because I'm like, a little prince, and he just had the hardest life in the world.
Yeah, that's insane. So he went to college. Where'd he go?
Williams College, same one as me.
He went to Williams?
Yeah.
From South Central.
yeah.
Why?
Dude,
But how did he
like,
know
what, the
about
80s?
Williams?
Like his
The tiny liberal arts.
yeah, his like guidance counselor or whatever the fuck.
Okay.
Also, he's like a literal genius, and he had like it's some grant or scholarship or whatever they give to like 4 people a year where he got
Williams
a full
or the
ride.
government?
I think it's the government or it might be some private foundation, but they paid for all of college and all of grad school for him.
Holy shit. And he got it at 18?
Yeah. And he was so poor that he graduated grad school with all that and was still fucking poor. And he's like, God damn. Like,
Oh, fuck.
yeah. Eventually he made money, but it was like, dude.
What did he do out of college, and what did he get a master's in?
He went to law school, and he was a lawyer for a little bit.
Okay.
Despised it.
So that you got to make money right when you right out of school if you're a lawyer, right?
Yeah, he started making money pretty quick.
Okay. Nice.
And presumably no debt, I guess, if they paid for everything.
No debt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, it was pretty sick.
Dang. And then
Pretty,
he started,
pretty lucky to be born in Vicksburg, Mississippi.
What a lucky guy.
Lucky guy.
Pretty lucky. Wait, you had wasn't an ancestor of yours like a mayor or something, a doctor or some job?
He was a state
Yes.
senator.
Yeah.
In Mississippi, like right after
shit.
slavery ended.
Reconstruction when they allowed
Yeah.
black people to actually vote in the South.
My family, they were like really successful, like right after slavery, and then Reconstruction ended, and then
then what
the Klan
happened?
was like, well,
not about that?
leave or we'll kill you. And they're like, okay. And then they left. And apparently on my mom's side, it was similar where they got like freed from slavery. And my mom's side's like light skinned. And I'm pretty sure he did research as like, what, you know, like raped by a slave master. But then I think the slave master had like this may be apocryphal, but they told me this is like, had a change of heart on his deathbed and gave the slave like all this land. And then, again, the clan was like, no. And so they had to leave.
And they're like, let's go to Vicksburg. That'll be safer there.
No, that was your dad's side.
No, my dad's side, they just lost everything and had to like be poor.
In the same place?
Mississippi. Yeah, I don't think they moved really.
Oh, man.
Then mom's side, they like just fled to the north,
Where'd they go?
West Virginia, which I guess is the south.
Yeah.
Not the greatest place to...
Yeah, they went from like Louisiana to West Virginia.
Oh, boy.
I don't know what the logic was, but
I mean,
especially when it's
I
like
think it's just if the KKK's after you, elsewhere is good.
Yeah.
just move.
A different location is great.
they're not like, I've always wanted to be a advertising agent in Manhattan. Yeah, they're probably just
Let's
like,
try the big city.
yeah, there's probably like, oh, there's a coal mine here.
I just want a loft in Soho.
Yeah,
Is that too much to ask for?
can a girl dream?
Wow. And then how did they meet? Did they meet at college? Your parents?
Technically, yeah. Well, okay, my dad's best friend in college is my uncle now. Because, so he met my aunt, mom's sister. And so then my parents met through them. But my mom was with another guy who she later was engaged to. So they just met.
Whoa.
And then they met again, like randomly, just in the city, or at like when they're both in law school. My mom's in business school, and then they moved into the same hole as each other, just randomly.
Really?
Yeah, and then my
She was
dad.
engaged at this time?
That's
Or
when
this
she
post-engagement?
left her
Gotcha.
fiance. Wow. And then my dad couldn't afford a TV, so he would ask to watch TV at my mom's place.
Actually?
Yeah. And then my mom had a crush on my dad, and she was like, yeah, I'll try to walk around in my little outfits, but your dad's oblivious. And then I asked him to go jogging, and then my mom's unathletic, so she hurt herself.
She hurt herself.
Yeah, but then they just started dating from there.
Wow.
Wow. So he was
Is this in New York?
genuine in
That
asking
happened-
to watch TV. He wasn't like,
No.
oh, this will be a way to
No, he's
hit
like,
on her.
I would like to see the game at this nice lady's apartment. Although apparently he had game. Apparently, like it was in college, he went out with the like volleyball coach, which knowing my
coach?
dad, like as
Wow.
an 18-year-old, just be like, "What's up, you 30-year-old woman?" Is like, "How you doing?" And he doesn't talk like that, but yeah, it's crazy to me because I've seen photos of him in college, and he has like a thick mustache. You know, everyone back then they're 18,
Yeah.
but they look 45.
Like 40.
I really do.
She might have just made an honest mistake.
I thought he had a mortgage. Yeah.
Were there a lot of black kids at Williams at that point in the 70s?
No.
You'd think it's pretty racist and waspy.
It was, less racist than other places, apparently. Like, they accepted black people before a lot of other schools,
Okay.
which is part of why my dad went there. Yeah. Not a ton, but more than others.
More
of
than
similar
zero?
similar caliber, yeah. Like, my mom went to Yale, and she was like, there was, like, none. It was, like, her, and then, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, when she went in the 70s?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
And then when you went,
Well, that-
it's gotten
Yeah. What?
more diverse when you were
Yeah,
there.
it's like I think it pretty much follows like the demographics of America. Like my grade, I remember it was like 13% black, and I was like, oh shit, it was,
That's pretty good.
I know,
for-
I was surprised.
for like that love. Wait, so Yale too is I read about this. Like the Ivy League schools are much better at diversifying than other schools because they have an endowment that allows them to offer like underprivileged kids much more money. So it's like more accessible to kids.
I think so, because that's what
wouldn't
it was
be able
like at
to-
my school.
Also,
like
not
a lot of-
Williams?
financial aid was
Yeah.
like pretty.
Yeah,
pretty
and
good.
not just an endowment. It's like $70 billion.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like massive.
Yeah, it's almost his own like investing arm of the school.
Like I feel like Harvard has more money than like some countries.
Oh yeah, like a lot of countries, and they also
Wow.
so they don't need to have anyone pay, but some people do.
Were your parents how
Do they?
like school focused? Because like my parents were like, you will go to an elite school type of deal. Like or were your parents like that?
Really? They were?
I feel like I could've-
It was like unspoken.
From
like
from what age? Like when you were young?
Yeah, it's kind of like an unspoken like, well, obviously, and if you go to somewhere bad, then that's a major disappointment.
This is why you're working hard in school right now, is for this end result. Like that was kind of what they were telling you.
That's the thing. It was just like just assumed. It wasn't even like helicopter parenting.
Didn't need to say it.
It's like, of course.
Yeah. We had, I think ours was unspoken, you're going to college, but beyond that, it wasn't a huge deal.
Graduated and walk off into the woods, and they would have been like,
Graduated high school or
as long as you got the
college?
degree.
high school.
Really? Did you go to college?
You think you
I
could have
went to
not gone to college and they would have been okay with that? I don't think that's true at all.
I mean, I feel like there would have been more assistance in even applying to college if they truly wanted me to go to college.
Graduation rolls around, and I was like, "Oh shit! Did you do the? Oh, thank God!"
Well,
You know what's really
a
funny?
similar story to that
Yeah.
was the SATs in 11th grade. I did zero studying, literally zero. Again, a parent who's like wants you to like go somewhere is like probably going to be a little
Get
bit
you
on
a
top of
tutor
it.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the night before the SATs, I had, that book that's like 1,000 pages like this, hadn't opened it. And it was in my room, and my dad walked in. He's like, "You do know you have the SATs tomorrow, right?" Like he's checking to make sure. And I was like, yeah. And I literally, there was a pause and silence, and I went, "Do you think I should study tonight?" And Dad went, "I don't think it'll do anything."
Dude, that sounds chill.
He is
definitely chill,
He
yeah.
was chill in moments and then other moments. I remember one time I could hear him yelling at you from downstairs about one report card you got.
That sounds about right.
But I'm like, you can't be both so chill that you ask the night
that you're
before
reminding
about
the
the
SATs
SATs.
9 hours before they start.
Yeah, and then also like angry when you get a bad grade.
I think
Yeah.
It doesn't make
No,
sense.
it didn't.
a memory I have with my dad in school is that there's some homework assignment my brother had, and my dad was helping him out, and my brother's like, "I think this is the answer," and my dad's like, "No, it's not, Calvin," and he like does it for him. Then my brother gets his test back, and the one
was wrong?
It was wrong. And
Did he rub it in his face?
well, no, it's like you don't like want to make dad mad, and he like rarely apologizes, but he'll just apologize like a different way. He'll just be like, "Yeah, you guys want to go get ice cream?" And I'm like, "This is because of the test. You fucked up." Yeah, he has like his little ways of showing affection or apologizing.
Yeah,
it's never
Without
directly.
actually saying it.
Purchasing a lot of food. There's cupcakes when you get home. What did dad do?
Yeah. It's like you have a whole edible arrangement. It's like, did you fuck another woman? No, of course. I just thought the family would like it.
Wait, so what did he do after he was a lawyer?
That after he was a lawyer is when he started working for the company he became the CEO of. Yeah. Although it was funny because
I know it's just I think people listening aren't familiar.
I forgot. Yeah, not everyone knows my story. Okay,
Tell it, Randall. Tell
so my this was like after my brother was born, but before us. I think my mom might have been pregnant with us, me and my sister. But one time, my mom just came home from work, and my dad was like on the couch smoking weed. And she's like, "What are you doing here so early?" He's like, "Oh, I just quit my job." It's like, "What the fuck? We have fucking twins and a fucking child." And he's like, "I'll figure it out."
Oh, he had not lined anything up.
No, he just hated his job so much. He just like, "I quit."
That's not something to do without consulting your spouse.
Yes. And it's also wild because I'm like, that is one, I didn't know he smoked weed at all until like 2 years ago. Like my mom told me this. He was like a completely different man. I'm like, I have no idea all the stories I hear about him. Like, who the fuck were you or are you?
Yep.
yeah.
But yeah, then he managed to find a job like working in like the finance side of Darden restaurants, and they own like Olive Garden and Red Lobster and stuff. And that's why we moved to Florida, is because they had a job offer for him in Florida. It was between Florida and fucking Arkansas or like Kentucky. So I'm like, thank God.
I guess Florida's better than if that's your
Good move,
alternative.
given the circumstances.
That would have been sick if I could like sound like Bill Clinton, just have that, just have that accent.
That drawl.
Yeah. But yeah, then he just worked his way up, eventually became the CEO. And yeah, he was like CEO for like 5 years, 6 years.
From
7 years.
Orlando, you were living in Orlando this whole time.
Yeah. After he moved to the new company is when we moved to Orlando. And I remember like I feel like when you're a kid, sometimes you don't know, like, I don't know. I didn't know, like, what do my parents do exactly? Like, how much money do they make? And I knew we had like a nice house, but we also bought it. We were like the first family in the neighborhood, so we got it like cheap too. So I don't know. And my parents are also very weird about money. They like are very, very cheap about a lot of things, even though they'll make like large purchases, but they'll be like the door at the back of our house was broken for like 2 years.
And it was like a mansion.
Yeah.
like a
And my
nice
dad's
house
like,
and-
look, we don't need to hire, I can fix it. And I'm
And then
like,
he didn't.
just doesn't.
I'll get to it. I'll get to it.
So sometimes it'd be like, there'd be signs. I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're like well off, but also
Why?
they both have that like poor mindset, or
Yeah.
like we don't want to like waste money on anything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because he grew up in South Central, so he's used to like living with not much money. It's interesting when you get in that like mindset. It's hard to
Yeah, I don't
Get
think,
out of
it
it.
ever leaves. Really. Yeah,
No, I don't think so. I think it's like you're in that mode forever and you kind of feel like it could always go away and you always have to be like on top of your finances in that way.
Yeah.
Whereas someone who is born with money, they just get the door fixed.
But then I remember my dad came home
Yeah.
with a Mercedes. I'm like, wait. And I had like a conversation with my brother. I'm like, are we rich? And he's like,
How old were you?
like 8 or something.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, I think he's in Calvin's like, yeah, I think we are. He's like,
I think we
like, fucking nice, dude. Like, yeah, hell yeah.
You calling in your butler? Jeeves, are we rich? Maria, get in here. Are we rich, maybe?
That was the thing I was surprised. We never had like help at all.
Oh, really?
Never. Like they never had a maid or
That's
anything like that.
yeah. That's kind of the same mentality. Did you have to clean your room and do your own laundry and
Yeah,
stuff?
Sundays it was a big cleaning day.
Wow.
Fucking clean every-
Weekly.
Yeah.
Oh,
My dad's like a neat freak because I also think he has some undiagnosed mental illnesses.
What? A dad born in the 50s? There's no way.
There's no way.
he didn't
Yeah.
deal with that.
I remember like when I started therapy like 2 years ago, and I said it at the dinner table, and Mom's like, "Oh, nice," and you could tell there's an unspoken tension between all of us, like. You know who else should go to therapy?
Anyone else starting therapy?
You go
or
down the
thinking
line,
about
your
starting
sister, your mom, your brother. That's very good. They all look at your dad. Right?
I'm just like, you've lived through some horror.
I do think there's like that element of like their childhoods were so different and some of them were so bad that they really just don't want to go into
Don't
it.
even want to think
don't
about
even-
it.
They just
Yeah.
want to
Don't wanna
die
bring it
not
up
thinking
at
about
all.
because his life is great. He has like successful kids and he's made money. He does not want to relive
Yeah,
the.
it reminds me of that Louis C.K. joke. He's like, if I am gay, I don't want to know because I'm like 55.
Yeah.
and it's too fucking late, and it's too late
Yeah.
to change.
If I have trauma, that's all right. I'll die not
It dies with me.
diving
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, that's what I have if I have trauma.
Yeah.
My grandpa is although you can make changes late in life. Apparently, my grandpa was like an alcoholic, but like a high functioning and like very nice. This is This is an example of how bad the past was. Because my grandpa died like a few years ago, and my grandma would be like, "Oh, grandpa, he was the best man and all that stuff." And part of me was like, "Yeah, we all we love him," and she would brag. It was like he never hit me. Never hit, not once. And I'm just like, damn, how many women were getting hit? That this is like a selling point to grandpa. I was like, thank fucking God. he
Whenever
didn't.
she'd go and meet up with her friends, she's like, didn't happen to me. No,
Not to flex, but see this bruiseless face? Yeah.
not once. Not once.
But yeah, my grandpa apparently he was like an alcoholic for like a long time. And then like after we were born, he just stopped. And I was like, holy shit. Like,
Your grandpa was an alcoholic?
Like after decades of like constant drinking, he was like, I'm done.
Did he do a program or
No.
he just got
Just-
sober?
Our grandma
Wow.
tells, similar like story that she used to smoke like a pack a day, and then I think it was like maybe the Surgeon General came out with a thing that was like cigarettes will kill you. She'd been smoking for like 40 years, and then she just like put it in the box, put it in the
Just
trash,
stopped.
and just never.
That's
Maybe they just
crazy.
have stronger willpower, and we need like programs and people to help us and talk us through it. And they're just
Or-
like, I'm fucking stopping.
Alternatively, she still used to
smoked.
smoke.
Yeah.
She lied.
Because she would smell like smoke a lot of the time when we were there. And it's a good story.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
She definitely
Because I remember
spins tall tales.
she would always smell like cigarettes when we were there, like hugging her.
She just sings.
And then she's telling that story as she smells like cigarettes.
As
and
she's
I
smoking,
never
and I never
smoked again.
She's like,
You
Black
in
and
it?
Milds don't count. All right? It's not even like a cigarette.
Our grandmother smoking cigarillos. An old 90-year-old Jew
Rolling up her own.
with her arthritic hands.
I lose so much tobacco every time, but I like the way it feels in my
Shaking.
fingers.
Oh God.
No, they had a weird. So when you were a kid in Orlando, you're growing up. What did you want? Did you have like? So you had to be. Your dad wanted you to go to college.
Yes.
What were your feeling? Were you like, I want to go to college? I want to have. When I was younger, I was like, ooh, college seems really fun. It was like it felt like going off. That felt like being an adult to me as a kid. It's like you go off to college. It's like in like a
You bring your briefcase to class.
Yeah.
It's like it reminded me of like Harry Potter when you go to Hogwarts. That's what I thought of
And
it
I think
as.
part of that is we didn't go to summer camp, which gives you that, like away from
Yes.
family.
Did you go to summer camp?
I went to summer camp
Yep.
since I was like 8.
That's a big
And I
huge
always like
difference.
spend summer either like at my grandparents' house or I go like backpacking. I did backpacking for
Really?
like years.
Damn.
Yeah.
Where?
All over like Colorado, went to Costa Rica once.
With,
went
like,
to
groups?
California. Yeah. It was like
Whoa.
climbed mountains and shit. Climbed Mount Shasta in
That's
California.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was tight. That's why got back into rock climbing now. I just love that shit. Dude.
Hell yeah. Was
Were
this
you
like
rock climbing when you were doing that?
No, that was more just like extreme hiking.
Yeah.
extreme hiking?
Ooh, I almost fucking died.
Hardcore walking.
On one of them, I almost fell off the fucking mountain. It was like, I don't know how they let us climb that.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. And they teach you to, self-arresting. Do you know what that is?
No.
So you climb with like an ice pick, and then self-arresting is you hold it close to your chest. If you fall down, you like lean in, so it like stops.
Are you
from
serious?
falling. Yeah.
If you're sliding down a mountain?
yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, part of the path we went up, like we went up the wrong direction, so it wasn't like super stable, and I fell, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
You fell?
Yeah, and I didn't die. Well, obviously, but
And I've been a ghost ever since.
but I remember, I like climbed back up, and the counselor was like, "Whoa, that was close." And I'm
Holy
like,
shit.
I'm like, that would have been bad for you. Kid fucking
That would have been
dies.
really bad for that person.
So
I wonder if do kids die on those? Like they wouldn't.
No,
No one
not
would
really.
send their kids if they died.
No, I just like had a bad counselor who chose the wrong path.
That's not
There's a picture of me at the
boy.
top of the mountain where like everyone's smiling but me, and I'm like, I almost fucking died, dude.
You're pale somehow. Oh my god, Randall! What
I look like
happened?
Chappelle, like
Sweating.
the newscaster.
And you're just staring at your feet.
Well, I was like, I'm not having a chill time. It just like dawned on me. I was like, holy fuck.
Was that Shasta?
Yeah, that was Shasta.
Oh my god!
Do you know what the elevation is at the top?
Too high to live.
I think it's like 14,000 feet. It's like really high.
It was
right?
pretty tall, yeah.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful, though. Highly recommend.
There was one time we did.
Yeah, true. I can't. That's such a cool summer camp activity.
Oh, dude, I love it. Yeah.
Did you go with the same people? Like, did you have summer camp friends?
No,
that
it was like a different crew every time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Did
And
you
that-
have
and
like
that's
a
like high school age?
Did
It was like middle, early high school. Yeah.
Damn.
'Cause, yeah.
Yeah, that's horrifying. If you learn that at the like end, you're like, yeah, that could have ended it all.
Yeah, death is real
Yeah.
for you. Yeah. No, I went to like business camp. I remember junior year to get
Of
to
high
like
school?
pad my resume.
Yeah.
I went to Wharton for 4 weeks, coming up
Really?
with business ideas and pitching business.
just a 17-year-old?
yeah. Some of those kids were smart as fuck, and then was like,
Cheetos for your dick.
nice. So we're looking for an angel
what about
investor.
this? What about this?
Looking for it.
A girlfriend. Guys, anyone?
Someone who's excited when you come home. Sounds pretty dope, huh? Well, it can be yours.
Can't be. So you did that.
Do you remember any of the ideas that you pitched?
Yeah.
One of them was basically just the Apple Watch, which came.
Oh, pre-Apple Watch.
Yeah, and I do remember because there were like real business people at the meeting, and they're like, "Seems stupid," and I was like,
Really?
Yeah. Then later, when the Apple Watch came out, I'm like, "Wait a fucking
What the
second,
fuck?
yeah, because we're basically like, what if it's like an iPhone, but you could wear it around?
Actually?
Yeah. It wasn't my idea. It was one of the other kids' idea. And I remember they shit on it.
Whoa! Wow, those guys.
And I was like, oh man, that's
Come up here. This guy's an idiot.
everybody to
That's
your
never
bats, hit him
gonna
like a
work.
pinball.
Worst idea ever.
And then wow.
Yeah, it was really absurd. Because I remember I was like, I don't know, that sounded kind of cool to me. But then you're like, I'm 17, I don't know anything about business.
Yeah.
I remember that when the Apple Watches came out, I was like, "Holy shit, James Bond is real now."
Yeah, it was sick.
This is like in James Bond, and now those guys are like, "It'll never work."
Because you had that that ad where they're talking into their wrist,
Yeah.
and you were like, "That's fucking sick."
Right. It's
Do you
like
have an Apple Watch?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do, right?
Yes.
Is it cool?
Not really.
It's
basically
maybe those business guys were right.
Yeah. It's basically a phone, but worse and smaller.
That's kind of what
Yeah.
they said. They're like,
Yeah.
if a phone's not that difficult to take out of your pocket, so why would you need to wear it on your wrist?
Right.
And which is still a valid criticism of the Apple Watch.
Yeah. I think it sells really well though. I think they make a lot of money
think they
on
do.
that product. So
Yeah.
so fuck those those idiots.
You should go to Apple with like copyright infringement.
Sue them.
I came up with this idea, guys.
They're like, interesting. Their lawyer shoots me in the legs. I don't think you know who you're fucking with. It's like,
And
well,
you recognize one of the guys from class, like, "Hey, he was my professor."
Tim Cook comes out with a baseball bat. Really? You had the idea first?
he just walks out, happy pride, bitch. Tim Cook, richest gay man in the world.
He's got to be.
Richest? Yeah, I mean, it's what, 50 billion?
Yeah. Good for
Tim
him.
Cook?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No?
No, I think he's
Just 'cause he took over
because
later?
he doesn't have an equity, or he does, but not the equity stake that like Steve Jobs had. I think he's only like a billionaire.
Yeah, fucking poor pussy.
Jesus.
Fucking poor piece of shit. Poor.
Yeah, well, 2 billion. Okay, I mean that's a lot. He probably is the richest gay man.
Nice. That we know of.
He's the first Fortune 500 CEO who's openly gay.
Really?
Well, definitely the richest then.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
You would think,
There's a lot more.
there's at
in the
least a few
closet.
guys on that list who went to
right.
Yale.
Yeah. There's got to be. Yeah. How many CEOs of Fortune 500s do you think are secretly gay?
10%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Is that
with
about what the population?
I thought no, but I don't know. I feel like
I would
gay
actually
men
think
are clever,
they have schemes as well as plots.
I'm just coming here to make up new stereotypes. You know those clever little gays.
The shifty,
Yeah.
clever gays.
A guy who confuses Jewish stereotypes with gay stereotypes.
Well, they run banking.
So they must be a bunch of the CEOs.
They actually are big in media, so that is there's some overlap there.
You know those Jews with their boas and thongs walking around. It's like, wait, what? Sorry, I just got to New York. I'm a little confused.
I went to this Jew bar recently.
Everyone's sucking each other
All
off.
these men kissing. Yeah.
He really Jewed me down yesterday. Yeah, sucked my dick real good. That's how big anti-Semitism was. I remember people would just say that, and they're like, "What?" I'm like, I don't think that's a cool thing to say." What? He Jewed me down. He's like, okay, well.
There's a similar word. I won't say it. I can type it out.
He just types the N word and
no, that legit is the word. This is a word. It means stingy, but it's so obvious where it came from.
Oh yeah. Dude, I remember when I first started.
And people say that word.
Niggardly.
I've heard
for the
people-
audience.
I've heard people say it like to mean cheap, and I'm like, that's not. But it's the whole word.
Yeah.
You can't just add an ly.
Then that's fine.
Well, dude,
He's like,
I
no,
remember-
it means cheap. I'm like, but does it though?
At the National Spelling Bee, what's the origin?
And he's like, you know.
Looks him in the eye. I think we both know the
I
origin.
think we all know exactly where this word comes from.
Jesus, man.
Dude, I remember when I first started smoking weed. Did you ever have people who's like, "Oh, don't nigger lip it"?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 And they said that. This guy said that to me, and you could tell everyone
he
else.
white?
Yeah. And I was
Oh,
like,
Jesus.
what the fuck? He's like, no. It's just like a thing you say. I'm like,
no, it isn't.
and then I was like, what does it mean? He's like, it's when you put your lips around the entire thing. I'm like, what?
oh God.
So it's extra racist. Not only did you say the N-word to me, you're like, no. The explanation of it is because black people have big nigger lips. And I'm like, all right. I love this state, man. I love living in Florida.